just because you have failed a lot in life or you have a lot of failures doesn't make who you are. Does not mean who you are, right? Oftentimes we quick to label ourselves as failures or as no good because we have done things in the past, right? I mean, I know when I was Hey, here we go. We continue here with my vlogs and every day. And I want to just share real quick. Don't mind the crazy here. This is a great book. I don't know if you ever picked it up, but I think I've talked about it before. I reread it once in a while. It's called Cybernetics. And it hit a point real quick. It has a lot of value points on how we can be more creative. And I'm always thinking about being creative. I love creating things. Even if I fail, I love to try new things just to see. I've worked on my car, not very successfully. I was able to do the job, but I saw that it was 1 or 2 hours. It took me about 6 to 7 hours, which is not ideal if you want to be a mechanic. Yeah, so I'm always trying new things. Trying things around the house. We have a pipe. We had a couple of things that broke, and I would try to fix it. And it's more of challenging myself on how to solve the problem, which I guess I like to solve problems, which is not a good thing. But yeah, I like to tackle things, try to see if I can fix them. And sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. Doesn't mean that I'm not a successful being. And what I was trying to, what really hit me was, is here in the New York City public education system. And I am a factor of that. I went through public school education throughout my whole life. Graduated, thankfully, through the system. And yes, it definitely needs improvement. But from what I've seen, it's kind of the same. But when I was going to school, and I am 20. Let me see, graduated in 03, and we are in 2019. 17 years close to out of school, and system still kind of the same as far as advancements. But that's beyond the point. That's something we can't control. But what I was trying to relate to was that if you have kids, I have my daughters, and my youngest one, she takes a little bit longer for her to read, to learn, to understand it. She doesn't learn it like that. And when she was in, I believe she's in first grade now, so in kindergarten, I believe as far as pre-K, teacher was great. I can't complain about the teacher, great job. But because of her delayed, I would say, the way she would be able to comprehend things, they were advising that I had to sit her down with a evaluation therapist, whatever they call them, and see if she might need to be put in certain special classes. And for some reason, as a parent, it hurts you because you don't believe that your student needs that your kid needs it. Like your kid is a special. Special education has a bad rep, I think, in public education because normally it is branded or kind of put in a situation where it's not per need. It's anybody that needs special help all in one classroom. But everybody, I think, needs different help. It's not just because you're developmentally delayed. It might be because you have a mental illness. And that, I believe, you definitely need a special aid, special help for that because you cannot control that. I have family members, I have friends that have kids or siblings that were born with certain disabilities, and I believe that is not an easy task, and I do believe they need a lot of help. But I think the public education system, they kind of put everybody in one umbrella, under one umbrella, and I don't believe that's so. I think they should have separations. But besides the point of public education, let's go more to what I understand was I felt that I didn't see those tendencies in my daughter. Maybe because I'm a father, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm biased, who knows? But I was like, look, give me some time. I'm gonna work extra with her on her homework. I'm gonna try to build her up, see what if she can get better. The year progressed and she did pass, but obviously the teacher was kind of concerned and says, we should still follow up with her in the next year. Hopefully she gets better. But they didn't have any hopes or any type of, I would say they weren't looking forward to her getting better. They said that she needed help, and to look forward for that. So fast forward, the next year she goes to a new teacher. My daughter starts comprehending more things. She starts becoming more aware, and I see that she's more, she's actually absorbing a lot of the work material. And the teacher was saying, she was amazed by how she's progressing very quickly because of the reports she had from the prior teacher from the prior year weren't too good. So she knew that she was going to be something a little bit more difficult to deal with, and she was going to, monitor her a little bit more than the rest of the kids. But long story short, my daughter did a lot better. Bam, March came, we got shut down, schools got shut down. I had to stay and basically help out my daughter, and I've made an issue of where I want to make my daughter better. I am not a qualified psychologist or qualified teacher to teach people or kids any type of criteria, but I believe in practice. And as you saw in my last video, I believe in practice makes perfect, and not perfect, but it makes better. It might not be perfect, but it makes better. If that wasn't the case, then athletes wouldn't put in the reps. They wouldn't do 500, 600, 7 reps prior to game time, right? They wouldn't do it. They just would show up to the game or to the match or whatnot and just do it. It takes practice. So I think that what I was trying to go with that was that my daughter it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot more time, a lot of time, as compared to my other daughters, right? My daughters get it really quickly. They move forward. They able to absorb. But I always remember that everybody has a different time as far as grasping things. And I think in nowadays society, we kind of quick to judge and quick to label certain criteria of individuals that they're delayed as, certain, mental health or mental illness or whatnot. And what I feel like they might need is just more work, more time, because we have these times for everything, for the time we're gonna graduate, the time we're gonna get a job, the time we're gonna get married, the time when we're gonna have kids. But to be honest, the time limits that we set on ourselves are not really ours. They're determined by somebody else, and not everybody is the same. Everybody has their own ways of going about things. I know some people that can build a house flat out with a couple of tools and do it like it was it was nothing to them, right? And there's people that, like myself, I'm not gonna build no house for you. I'm gonna probably stump my toes and hit my and break a couple of thumbs with my hammer. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna try to learn, but it's not gonna come as easy to me. I like a lot more numbers and stuff like that. I'm not big on material and building stuff, but there's individuals that know how to do this on a daily basis. They practice and they know what they're doing. So the same thing comes to, I think, education. And what I was getting to point, and I lost myself. The book, it was saying that just because you have failed a lot in life or you have a lot of failures doesn't make who you are. Does not mean who you are, right? Oftentimes we quick to label ourselves as failures or as no good because we have done things in the past, right? I know when I was 18, I had a different mindset, different way of going about things, and I did a lot of things I wasn't proud of. But that was then. I can't go back to that. That wasn't that's not who I am now, right? And sometimes a lot of us live with that, and if you ever, I remember when I was working, um, you could see the difference of people that have a pep in their step. They were young, they carried themselves as young people, they were hip, they were jokesters, they had fun. They weren't really letting life hold them down. They were older, they have gone through a lot of things. I met a man that had maybe like 5 different marriages, and he failed. He felt like he said he failed. It was his fault. And if you met him, you would have never thought that. He carried himself really well. Had a new had a, you know had a new wife. The guy did not let that kind of make him who he was. It was just part of his life, but it wasn't who he was. And sometimes we have a lot of failures, setbacks. I know for me, job loss. Maybe you have a breakup. What else? You have financial loss. So it's a lot of things that we can let it control us and let us dictate who we are, and kind of take us down a wrong, dark hole. Um, but for me, I'm always respecting those that get, you know, that get pushed down by life and they come back up and they make themselves better. And that is all up to us. There's nothing that anybody can do for us. And yes, people are gonna help you. People are gonna want to help us. They're gonna do it. They're gonna help you. Obviously, you gotta be willing to take it. But um, the what he was trying to basically say in the book was that if we let our past, and our failures in the past dictate our now and our future, then we'll never be anything better than our failures, right? And that's not true, right? We not, what we did in the past is not who we are now. A lot of individuals that I've known, that I've met, or that I've read about, there were certain individuals that went to prison, and oh my God, your life is over. That's it. You're in the system. You can't do anything with your life, and they've come out and they excelled. And a lot of I saw a story about an individual, the entrepreneur, that he came out of prison, and he obviously in prison all you do is work out all day, right? And he came out with a crazy, obviously a physique that others were admiring, and they were saying, how do you do that? He said, obviously I had a lot of time on my hands. He came out with workouts, and he calls them boot camps, for individuals that want to get in shape. And this is where his workouts are all based on when he was in prison, right? And he came out, he made it his own business. He is, making a living for himself because of what he went through. So we can't let certain things dictate what our future is going to be or what it is right now. We have to kind of take what comes, but at the same time, look for the bright future, look for the, as they call, the light end of the tunnel. And I think even being optimistic, even I read a book that they were talking about a little girl called Pollyanna Effect. I forgot the name of the book. It's called Pollyanna, I think. But it was that wherever the girl went, she was so positive and so how was a positive outlook on life that wherever she went, she would transform the villages, that they were kind of down their luck, drooping shoulders, forward, kind of like down on their luck in life. And when she would go there, she would just uplift everybody. Everybody's walking like, shoulders back. Everybody's, just happy, smiling, going upon their day. So our outlook on life and what we go through and what we do has a really, really, I believe, a strong correlation with how we feel energetic wise and how we look. When you take care of yourself, when you try to do a workout, it's not about, I remember when I first started working out, I didn't work out because I wanted to feel better. I didn't work out because I wanted to live longer. I started working out because I wanted to get stronger. Excuse me. One, for my sport that I love, athletic-wise, I wanted to be a stronger athlete, to produce better results in the field. But at the same time, also, I wanted to look good. I know it sounds very shallow, but I just want to look better. I wanted to have the 6-pack, the 8-pack. I wanted to have the biceps, the chest. And little did I learn that it took time. In the beginning, I didn't see no results. I would spend hours and hours in the gym trying to make sure I get these results, get these gains, as we call them. But my only motivation was to look good. So it wasn't until I would say like in my late, I would say my early 30s, where I started understanding that maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I would say maybe like 4 years ago, that I just felt better, had more energy than my individuals that are my age, my friends. I just felt more energetic. I could think clearer after my workouts. Just had a different take upon certain things because studies shown that obviously getting some type of physical activity helps not only with your whatever type of injuries you might have. If you have low back pain, some tight muscles that might be hurting, physical activity might help. Stretching, right, mobility as well, but also mental wise, it just any stress I had in my life, all the stresses that were going on through my life, were always felt different when I came out of a workout, or once I went into a workout, I was able to let my frustration out. I remember there'd be times where, you know, I was really frustrated, and I would have some thoughts of like, I just want somebody to try me. I wanted to violent outlash, whatever, lash out violently. I would go into the gym and do it on a boxing bag. Just let it out there. And then when I would come out, all that will be gone. Like I wouldn't, I'll be more zen than anybody. So the only thing that you're gonna be zen, and you're not gonna have triggers, and you're not gonna have people, confront you, and you're not gonna have those feelings. Of course, you're gonna have them. But I think for me, working out was more like of letting go of all those frustrations and angers and judgments, and holding on to those grudges as well. He talks about as well in the book, the grudges that we all hold against certain people, individuals, in our lives, and how that can kind of affect how we move on and how we move in life, and how that scars us, right? And like holding on to the past, the same thing as grudges, right? We might have been hurt. When you growing up in life, you're gonna meet a lot of individuals, and not everybody's gonna treat you the same way, or not gonna be able to treat you right. People might do you dirty, as we call it here in New York City. But and I've been done dirty a couple of times, and I noticed that for me to let go of grudges was, well, not was, is still one of the hardest practices. And he also talks about as well, not everybody can do that. That's probably one of the hardest traits to attain. We might say we doing it, but do we really do it in the long run? And most of us don't. So he says, letting go of those grudges that, and what I'm trying to talk about here is the person that hasn't paid you, that you loan money to. When you're driving in the highway and somebody cuts you off, New Yorkers know how that feels. When you get cut off in something, you're waiting online, somebody cuts you off, whatever, all these things that happen to us in life, how those things are so minute and minor, and how we let that take a toll on us, stress us out, make us feel older, make us look older. You see my wrinkly lines here. It's definitely not because of my kids. Well, the kids are there, but also because of the grudges I be holding. Sometimes we hold grudges against people. If it's not our parents, maybe some past relationships, past friendships. There's a lot of things that we don't agree with, right? Not everybody's gonna, I think, really please us, and not only please us, but be the idol of person that we think that it should be. Everybody has their own personality, and as hard as it is for us to accept it, it's just a harsh reality that we kind of have to, like, if you think about it, kind of understand it. But yeah, so I personally think that we need to practice, and understanding that holding on to the past, the grudges, and also he says letting those things affect how you treat others, right? So not wanting to meet new people, not wanting to have new friends, not wanting to repeat those actions because you think you're gonna get hurt again, or get, maybe be, basically be repeat the process of that person not paying you, let somebody. These things shouldn't stop of you from who you are, and And oftentimes I know myself, I catch myself. I believe I like to, that's me. I love to help. And I don't also agree with, using that as, taking advantage of my kindness, but I like to help. When somebody needs help, I feel that we need to help, because I've been in situations in my life where I needed help. Oftentimes I got a lot of help, and that I'm blessed. And oftentimes I didn't. So whenever I get in a position where I'm able to help somebody, small acts of kindness, I try to help as much as I can. But there's sometimes that individuals might take advantage of your kindness, and I've also noticed that as well. So, but that doesn't mean I stop from helping others, right? I don't use that as my barometer of where I'm going to stop helping people. I think that's not right as well. But he gives an example of, if you help, or if you've been hurt before, doesn't mean that you're gonna happen to you again, or don't let that start, new things. Or if you failed in the past, if you have started businesses that have failed, if you have ideas that haven't kind of uh, planned out the way you thought it was, don't let that hold you back. Forget about it. Start a new page, fresh, brand new slate. 2021 is coming. End of the year is now. New year, new process, new mindset, and it's a daily work. These things that we're talking about, these things that we're actually addressing and understanding, doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen once. You got to keep on with this and refreshing it in your mind, because we are very quick to go back to the old ways of thinking. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not gonna be conducive to what you want to do. You need to start practicing. And here we are, a couple of weeks left for the new year. Well, a couple of weeks left of the old year, starting a new year. So maybe it's the best time to start. And why not? You deserve it. You deserve it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.